everyone. I wanted to introduce a new segment where I read a mystery to you on the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week, I'll give you the answer so you can think about it and guess. You can go ahead and guess. You can comment underneath the video on our feed. Just one guess per person, please. And we'll see how that works, and then I will reveal why this case was solved this way or the answer to the mystery at the end of the week. What we're going to do, though, for this book is we're going to read sections out of my favorite book from when I was a kid, thousands of years ago, and riding dinosaurs to school and stuff like that. I would always read these Encyclopedia Brown books, and I happen to have one here. And they're about 5 or 6 pages each is the mystery, and then at the back of the book is the answer. If you have one of these books at your house, please don't look at the answers. Just try to figure it out on your own. It's a really cool book. It was published in, oh my gosh, 1965. So some of what they talk about is a little dated and a little silly, like the references, but it's like baseball and balloons and cowboys and stuff like that. Like everyone knows what those things are still. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great time listening to the mystery. I'm going to make it where all the words are up on the screen here, and I'll read it and you could follow along. And then at the end, you can try to figure out how to Encyclopedia solve the case. Hope you have a great time with this. I think I will too. All right, bye-bye. So, without further ado, we are now presenting the mystery of the week. Encyclopedia Brown, the case of the secret pitch. Idaville looked like any other town of its size from the outside. On the inside, however, it was different. 10-year-old Encyclopedia Brown, America's Sherlock Holmes in sneakers, lived there. Besides Encyclopedia, Idaville had 3 movie theaters, a little league, 4 banks, and 2 delicatessens. It had large houses and small houses, good schools, churches, stores, and even an ugly old section by the railroad tracks. And it had, everyone believed, the best police force in the world. For more than a year, no one, boy, girl, or grown-up, had got away with breaking a single law. Encyclopedia's father was chief of police. People said that he was the smartest chief of police in the world, and his officers were the best trained and the bravest. Chief Brown knew better. His men were brave, true enough. They did their jobs well, but Chief Brown brought his hardest cases home for Encyclopedia to solve. For a year now, Chief Brown had been getting the answers during dinner in his red brick house on Rover Avenue. He never told a soul. How could he? Who would believe that the guiding hand behind Idaville's crime cleanup wore a junior-sized baseball mitt? Encyclopedia never let out the secret either. He didn't want to seem different from other 5th graders. There was nothing he could do about his nickname, however. An encyclopedia is a book or set of books filled with facts on all subjects. Encyclopedia had read so many books that his head held more facts than a library. Nobody but his teachers and his parents called him by his real name, Leroy. He was called Encyclopedia by everyone else in Idaville. Encyclopedia did not do all his crime-busting seated at the dinner table. During the summer, he usually solved mysteries while walking around. Soon after vacation began, he had opened his own detective business. He wanted to help others. Children seeking help of every kind came to his office in the Brown garage. Encyclopedia handled each case himself. The terms of his business were clearly stated on the sign that hung outside the garage. One morning, Speedy Flanagan, the shortest fastball pitcher in the Idaville Little League, walked into the Brown Detective Agency. He wore a face longer than the last day of school. "I need help," he said, side-arming 25 cents onto the gasoline can beside Encyclopedia. "What do you know about Browning?" "Nothing. I've never browned," replied Encyclopedia. "But once at the beach I tanned something awful, and I mean Robert Browning," said Speedy. The English poet? No, no, said Speedy. The American League pitcher, Robert Spike Browning. Even Encyclopedia's Aunt Bessie knew of Spike Browning. He was the ace of the New York Yankees pitching staff. What do you want to know about him? Asked Encyclopedia. Do you know what his handwriting looks like? Asked Speedy. I made a bet with Bugs Meany, my bat against his, that Bugs couldn't get Spike Browning to buy a secret pitch for $100. Whoa, cried Encyclopedia. If I understand you, Bugs bet he could sell Spike Browning a special way to throw a baseball? Right. Bugs and his father were in New York City the last week in June, said Speedy. Bugs says he sold Spike Browning his cross-eyed special. You'd better explain, said Encyclopedia. The pitcher crosses his eyes whenever there are runners on the first and third bases, said Speedy. That way nobody knows where he's looking, whether he's going to throw to first base, third base, or home plate. The runners don't dare take a lead. The secret is how the pitcher can throw the ball someplace while staring himself in the eye. Bugs sold the secret. He has a letter from Spike Browning and a check for $100. Phew, said Encyclopedia. I understand you now. You figure Bugs wrote the letter and the check himself to win the bet and your bat. So do I. Let's go see Bugs. Bugs Meany was the leader of the Tigers, a gang of older boys who caused more trouble than itching powder in Friday's wash. Since setting up as a detective, Encyclopedia had stopped many of Bugs's shady deals. The Tigers' clubhouse was a tool shed behind Mr. Sweeney's auto body shop. When Encyclopedia and Speedy arrived, Bugs was leading a discussion on how to beat the bubblegum machines around town. The Tigers' leader broke off to greet Encyclopedia. Get lost, he said. Not until I have a chance to see the letter and check from Spike Browning, said Encyclopedia. Bugs opened a cigar box and passed Encyclopedia a check and a letter. Encyclopedia read the letter. Yankee Stadium, New York, June 31st. Dear Bugs, your cross-eyed pitch is the greatest thing since the spitball. I expect to win 30 games with it this season. For sole rights to the secret of it, I'm happy to enclose my check for $100. Yours truly, Spike Browning. The letter was written on plain white paper. The check, bearing the same date as the letter, was drawn on the First National Bank for $100. Spike will win 50 games this season, said Bugs, and I won one baseball bat from Speedy Flanagan, so where is it? Where's your bat? Corrected Encyclopedia. Speedy won the bet. You lost. The letter and check are fakes. I ought to shove those words down your throat, said Bugs, but I'm feeling too good about what I did for the great American game of baseball. Bugs crossed his eyes, humming to himself. He went into his secret throwing motion. The other Tigers cheered wildly. Man, oh man, sang Bugs. I invented the greatest pitch since Edison threw out the gas lamp. No smart aleck private detective is going to walk in here and call me a liar. Oh, yes, I am, said Encyclopedia. Spike Browning never wrote that letter. That check is a worthless piece of paper. So what made Encyclopedia so certain?
Oh, that's totally epic, right? So how did he know that the letter was a fake? Go ahead and put a comment under this video on the Duval Teams page in the Virtual Media Center. Try to put it in the same post that the video is in so we don't get a bunch of other stuff commenting, and try not to look at the comments before you come up with what you want to put down as how he might have known the answer. And I will reveal the real answer on Friday, okay? So take care, you guys, and thanks for listening to that awesome mystery. All right, bye-bye.